Going on YouTube. How you traders doing? So I got a request to basically talk about what my trading journey looked like and why did I start trading. And I think it was a very good topic to talk about. So I'll give you my perspective of why I started trading and how long I've been trading and everything about that. So basically I started in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2015 is when I started trading or I heard about trading. That time MetaTrader 5 wasn't popular. Trading was not like popular at the time, but there was a company that my mother had worked for, and basically she said to me, hey, listen, have you heard about investing and stuff like that? So I was like, wow. Because to my knowledge, investing is for people who have a lot of capital, right? That's the narrative, that you need a lot of money to make, um, to be an investor, to invest. If you want to buy shares in a company, be a shareholder in a company, that's all I knew. You needed to have a lot of money because you would buy a portion of the company, and that portion would be your percentage. And depending on how much percentage you have in the company will determine your dividends, your pay, your decisions in the company as well. So you would need a lot of funds to get going as an investor. So I was like, I'm not sure about that. But the company that she was working for, I actually went to apply for job opportunity as well. Now, I kid you not, my my background is marketing management. That's what I studied for. And let me tell you, né, that you can study for something and do something completely different. This was the case. I studied for something, but was doing something completely different, something in the financial institution, nothing about marketing. So that's always weird when they say study for something and you completely do something else. But anyways, got into the position, and I basically worked as a trainer at the time, just how to use the system, because that time there wasn't MetaTrader 5. MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader, MetaQuotes was very small at the time, and they weren't as popular at the time. So we were using other systems or other platforms to execute trades, which is charts. What was the other one? Velocity Trade. We used other companies as well. But anyways, fast forward. I was just teaching the basics of how to use the system at the time. And to fast forward, I was teaching people how to use the system and about trading, but I never actually traded myself. I wasn't trading myself, but I was teaching people. And I was like, how do you how do you teach someone how to trade if you don't know how to do it yourself? Or you don't have the experience when it comes to being in the market, going through the emotions of trading. So I decided to start saving some of my money and trading the financial markets. And at the time, it wasn't Forex wasn't popular. It was trading stocks. We were trading stocks. We were trading indices at the time. What was it called? It's called DE30 at the time. It was called DE30, which is GER30 as well. And that was what I was mostly practicing on and playing around with. And I'll tell you how my story started, where I thought, no, this thing is very much profitable. And to be honest, it was a mistake that I made so much money. So what happened was I had saved some money, about 30,000, and I put it into the market because I realized something very unique about DER30 at the time, or DE30 at the time. So DE30 is like a German index, basically. It's got majority of top 30 German companies in there, right? That's the index, right? So I noticed that 4:30, some odd reason, the price would just drop every time. And I told my friend about it, who my colleague at the time, and I said, you notice 4 o'clock, 4:30, price always tends to fall. And he said, yeah, yeah. And we back tested it basically on the demo first to see how it did. And I kid you not, 4:30 every time he would just drop like every time. So I was like, okay, here's an edge that I can have or I can use to maximize my profit. I've got 30,000. I could make some serious money from here. Anyways, I still remember the day like it was yesterday, guys. This was like 11 years ago. So I placed the trade on DE30 and I was sitting with a client because at the time we would have one-on-one with clients. They would sit right next to me and I would teach them how to use the system at the time. And I had placed my computer was here, the client's computer was here, and I was placing my own trades while still assisting the client. So I thought to myself, it's not moving so fast. The market is quite stagnant. Let me place a trade and then I'll be able to, focus my full attention on the client. Once he's happy, then I'll go back and check the trade. So fast forward, what happened was I placed the trade, okay? I placed the trade 30,000, okay? Placed the trade 30,000, sitting with a client, we talking, discussing. Now, at the time, I didn't know too much about fundamentals. I didn't even know the terminology fundamentals, right? Fundamentals, technical analysis. I just knew the system and how it worked, but really didn't know the terminology. So fundamentals, obviously news related, driven by data. And then technical analysis is your ability to highlight trends, price action, and so forth. I didn't know this. I was only strictly technical trader, didn't know about fundamentals, didn't follow any fundamentals. Now, this trade was completely luck, but I still want to share the story because that's where it started. So, unlike other traders who makes more money, I was very lucky. I placed the trade and something happened fundamentally. The Brexit had pulled out and the GE30 completely tanked. Now, what's funny is I put a take profit. I'm sure you guys can relate. You know when you put your entry and you put a take profit all the way down because you just want to see how much money you're gonna make, You just want to put your cursor there just to see how much am I going to make if it goes down there. Not that it's actually gonna go down there. Like you never think like, wow, it's gonna go all the way down because it's somewhere ridiculous. Like I'm like, there's no ways it would take me 3, 4, even a year to get there. But not knowing that that day Brexit pulling out had dropped the German index so badly that while I was assisting the client, I'd already had hit take profit. I already had hit that ridiculous amount of money. Now, you're probably wondering, but how much was that? It was about when I did, it was about 100, no, 700 and about 701, 703,000 profit. So, but I didn't know at the time because when we went on a break and I logged in to see like what's happening with the trade, it wasn't there. And it wasn't like MetaTrader 5 today where you could see your balance immediately there by your position. Here you would actually have to go find out what happened to your balance, you understand? Because the trade would disappear, completely gone, and you would have to go to the history or you'd have to go and look at your balance to see if you were affected. So that's what I did. I went to the history and immediately I was like, what? Because I saw the profit and I was like, there's no ways. What happened? Because I just saw this massive candlestick, huge candlestick to the downside. I saw the balance and I was like, this can't be real. And I don't know if you guys, my story is I don't come from a very wealthy background. In fact, you know, we were, we were, we lived a very difficult life, a very small town, um, didn't have money, forget touching 10,000 Rand. I mean, I had to save like 6 months to make that 30,000, and also having assistance from my mother, a little bit that she had, because we didn't have a very nice life at the time. You understand? So it was very difficult. And this money here, I was just risking, not, I always say you have to risk to make, and this was one of those cases. And that's how I've always been now in my life. I've always been the type to take risks because I've seen what it can do for you. Yes, you can lose a lot of money. I've lost just as much. I've lost, okay, not just as much. I've made a lot more than what I've lost, but I've lost some serious money. There's a time I've lost about 250,000 in 4 hours. 250,000 is not, it's not child's play. It's someone's car. And anyways, so I made the money, and obviously from someone who hasn't had anything, to be honest, I wanted a car. I bought, a very nice car. I did everything that, I was not, I would say, deprived from or didn't have access to. So I went on a spending spree. Easy come, easy go, they say. When money comes like that, it doesn't stay long in your account. That's what I've learned is that's why I say people who have already been nurtured into wealth understand money. They understand the importance of money. Money doesn't phase them because they grow around money. If you if you if you didn't have, you want. And why I'm saying that is because the materialistic things that you couldn't afford, if you can now afford it, if today you said to me, "Hey, listen, I won the lotto," what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to buy things that you would not able to afford. You are going to live the life that you've never experienced. So that's what happened with me. That money was literally left with 100,000. I traded and I blew the rest of the money. I bought an expensive car. My first car was a Golf 7R at the time, just had come out, brand new out the box. Um, you know, I bought I bought a lot of stuff. I did a lot of things with that money, but I used the money recklessly nonetheless. I could have bought a house at the time. I could have got a really nice house at the time. You look back and you wish you did this, but everyone has to go through this, through their trading journey, especially if you don't, as I said, come from a wealthy household. You got to work yourself up. So you got to go through these experiences. You got to spend, you got to spend that money. And I say, when with my guys that make money, hey, look, if you, most of the guys that are, that want to trade or know me and start trading, they don't also come from wealthy backgrounds. So when they get money, they spend the money. And this is normal. This is completely normal. You rather get it out your system now. So when you get older and you earn money, you know how to keep the money. You know how to maintain and grow money the right way instead of spending recklessly. So, anyways, fast forward, I did all these things. I blew the money. I went down. I was like depressed after that because I thought this is how trading is. I'm gonna put 30,000 or 100,000. I'm gonna make a million, and that's how I'm gonna live every single day. And that was completely luck. I made money luck, but nonetheless, it's where my trading journey started. From there, I was demotivated with trading after losing. Imagine losing 100K. I was demotivated. I was like, maybe this thing was, a fluke. It was luck. And it was luck. I was 100% right. And I stopped for like 2 years and didn't want to know about trading. When you burn your fingers, you don't want to hear about something. Like, I don't want to hear about trading. I don't want to hear about that stuff. But what it taught me is life will push you back. When things are difficult and you're going to make extra income, you're gonna find yourself going back to trading. That's what happened. I keep going back to trading because I'm like, I can't just work. Working is not suffice. I need to make extra income. I need to make, if I want to have the nice things that I had or have and maintain the things that I have, because you buy expensive car, you got to maintain the car as well. The fuel is costly. Maintenance is costly. There's other expenses as well. So it's also something I didn't take into account as well. But anyways, I needed to make extra money. So back into trading again. So, anyways, fast forward couple of years of training, going back. Um, when did I actually start becoming really profitable? Yeah, so I came across some videos that I started watching, and I started doing. So I'm gonna skip like 4 years of this, but anyways, I watched videos with this guy talking about the market maker and how it works, and I was very intrigued, and I wanted to test it, and I was actually very successful with the strategy. And I opened a business, took out a loan for 100,000. I remember like it was yesterday, right? So I went to the bank and the lady was like, at the time, right? This is where the black cards just came out. Like at the time, this lady was at the tiller and she was like telling me like, oh no, you're opening a business account. That's cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take out a loan of 100,000 and I will pay back this money within 3 weeks. Kid you not. She looked at me and said, oh, what are you doing? It's like Forex. At that time, Forex wasn't known as scam or all of that stuff. It was just people were intrigued at the time because people were making money, like, oh, so-called claiming people were making money. So I said, yeah, no. And she's like, okay. So, anyways, fast forward, I started trading. Within a space of 1 week, I had already made 60,000 Rand from the 100,000. This is profit 1 week. Second week, I was up 150,000. Third week, I was up 200,000. Okay. I did take a bit of losses. I was actually higher, but I took a bit of losses. So I ended up finishing off the week at 200,000. Okay. So keep in mind, it's the 100,000 that I borrowed and 100,000 that I made as profit. So I paid back the bank the 100,000. Then it clicked to me. I was like, this is what rich people do. They go borrow money from the bank, use their money to make money because I didn't have 100,000 with me. Remember, I was like, if I save, it's going to take me so long to get to 100,000. Let me go and borrow money at the bank and then pay back the bank within a space of 3 weeks so that there's no interest on the loan amount. And that's literally what I did. And I'm not advising people to do that, guys. Please don't go to the bank now and go and take out a loan because you're gonna, double your money or whatever the case is. You really need to know what you're doing. I think I did practicing for a whole year before I actually decided to take out the loan. Because you must remember, if you lose that money, which is a high probability, you're gonna pay back that money plus interest. Okay, so that interest was like 50,000 on top of the 100,000. So I was like, I'm gonna be cautious, but I'm also gonna make sure that I take the position and I make this money so that I don't have to pay the interest. So, anyways, guys, fast forward, I hit that. She was shocked. Like the lady was like, "Wow, what do you do?" I was like, "No, I was trading the market, stuff like that." And yeah, that's when like things completely changed for me. Like for trading, um, I was really, really into trading, and I was trading with minimum 100,000, like on a regular basis, because with that kind of funds, you can survive if you know how to trade. With 100,000, you make 20,000, you make 50,000, you make 80,000. Sometimes you make 100,000 within a month. That suffice. But this is also what taught me about, and in fact, instead of making a third video, I'm going to talk about the psychology that comes with it now. I'm going to talk about my trading journey and the psychology behind trading. So this is where you start to learn that trading is a business because at the time you're fully reliant on trading. There's no other income. It's trading and trading. That's it. But you got bills to pay. So you need to create a structure that says, okay, I can lose, but if I do lose, I don't lose everything. So risk management is in place. So what I was doing, I was like, okay, got 100,000 on each position. I'm going to risk 10,000, which is 10%. And I'm going to try and make 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000, depending on what the market will give me. But I will follow through with the trading stop loss just to ensure that I'm protected because the market can just shoot down and then you were in 20,000 profit, now you're in minus 5,000. You need to also secure, break even, put it at break even or put it at 10,000 if you're up 20,000 just to secure. So this is where I learned risk management. All right. I learned about risk management. Keep doing the same thing, applying. Now, again, there's going to be times where you're going to try and move your stop loss. You're going to try do something. And at the time, you don't realize that you actually are making good money. But because you're not keeping records of it and you're also spending it on your regular things, because remember, you don't have a job at the time. This is your literal income. You're not keeping record of how successful you are. So I was not journaling my trading. All I was simply doing is just making profits, 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 withdrawing for food, withdrawing for this. And sometimes you would overexpose and you take a knock and then you would be under pressure. And this is where I felt most vulnerable. Whenever I started the month and I took a loss, sure, I'm like, oh, this month is going to be a long month because I just took a loss. This is the difference when you're trading. So, guys, when you're trading and this is your only income, and literally, it's very difficult to be successful. Okay? It's very difficult to be successful simply because this is your only income. And if it's your only income, mentally, you're not okay. Like, mentally, if you take a loss on one trade, you're revenge trading immediately. This is not good. Okay? This is not good. So hence why I say trading should always be a side hustle, a side thing you do on your spare time. You trade on your spare time. You execute on your spare time. It shouldn't be your main income. It never should be. Even if you make more money trading than anything else, it should never be your main income. It is just there to fund whatever you need, whether it's your life, whether it's your education, whether it's your business, whether it's something you want to start, whatever. That is what it's there for. Okay? That is what it's there for. And that's what it did for me. It funded a lot of things for me as well. Trading allowed me to fund this, 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 this. But as I always say, whenever you're under pressure, you do not trade well. Whenever you need money, you don't make money. This is just how it works. So when you understand the psychology behind trading, you understand how to position yourself better to say, okay, if this is my only income, I'm not probably not going to be successful because I can't stick to a rule because I'm under pressure. My mind is saying, I got bills tomorrow. I need to sort out this. You're not going to be able to concentrate to do the right thing. Okay, that's number one. Then journaling is the second thing. Once you find a stable income and your trading side hustle starts, you want to start creating a journal where you have goals that you've set for the year. Do not be small-minded and set goals for the week or the month or what. You're never going to actually trace or track if you are actually profitable long term. So trading journal does many different things, has many benefits. Number one, you're able to see if you are profitable, meaning the strategy that you're applying, does it actually work? All right, that's number one. If it works, you know long term, that's going to give you comfort. If you lose today or you lose tomorrow, it's going to give you comfort knowing that, hey, by the end of the month, I'm still going to be profitable even if I lose based on my track record, based on my strategy. So that helps you keep your emotions intact. Okay, it keeps the emotions intact. Trading journal is very vital. So it helps you with your risk management, it helps you with your confidence. Okay, it helps you with your confidence. Now, obviously, confidence if you have track record. If you don't have a track record of making money, you're not going to be confident. But at least what it's going to do, it's going to highlight the issues that you are facing, which means whatever you're doing is not working. So stop doing it. Focus on something else. Change your strategy or tweak your strategy. It doesn't have to completely change. You might be onto something, but you're just not getting the edge. You actually don't have an edge. That's what Trading Journal does. It gives you the data you need to process to say, is what I'm doing working? Yes or no? So that you can find the root of what is causing you to be emotional. Is it because you're not applying your rule? Like, what are you doing? And if you are applying it and it's still not working out, it means this trading strategy doesn't work. Okay, so let's repeat. So the first one is what? Journaling assists you with what? Risk reward. Secondly, it helps with what? Confidence. Okay? These are very important in trading, guys. These two are very important in trading. And then three. Three is the last one. And this one is the most important. Having a trading journal will teach you patience. Why? I always say it's not really patience, it's called positioning. Because if you have a trading strategy that's working, it will position you in the right time to trade or the right position to go in, or when to go into the right position, or what time to actually enter the market. Trading Journal tells you this. It assists you with this because 9 out of 10, you know you only take a trade if it looks like this or this or this or this. It has to apply to this and this and that. Only then I trade it. Not because, oh, it's tanking and because it's tanking, I want to join now. No. You got to be, like I said, when you have a track record, a lot of the emotions that come with trading, greed, not having proper risk management, entering too soon, emotional about the position as it fluctuates, all these emotions dialed down because you've got a report that's giving you actual confidence that, hey, listen, just keep doing the same thing, the boring same thing. I always say, if trading is boring for you, then you've got it. You've got it. If trading is boring and you got to do the same thing and apply the same principle and you make the same whatever, even if it's not a lot of money, compounding is really important, guys. Again, I don't want to talk about the stats that I've done, but I've literally compounded. I've taken 1,000 to ridiculous amounts of money by just compounding 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Now, what can affect you? And I think I've recorded it, and thank goodness you guys saw it in my previous recordings. When you are trading, if there's anything that's going to affect you mentally, whether it's your health, whether it's family issues, whether it's life, you need to be able to put your trading on hold. Okay? Must put your trading on hold because when you go to the markets, you need to be the best version of yourself. Every time you go to the markets, you are the best version of yourself. And you're sticking to your trading plan. Doesn't matter whether it doesn't work or it works. Because long term, data shows you that it works. So long term, you're going to be profitable. Okay? That's what it says. Long term, I'm going to be profitable. But you can't have that confidence if you haven't put a trading journal in place to assist you. So start today recording all trades, every trade you take. Okay? Every trade you take, you record it. Whether it does good, it does bad, it breaks even, whatever. Record that position and record multiple positions within a course of a month. Easier maths, I try record based on 10 trades. I place 10 trades. Out of 10 trades, how many do I win? Okay, 6 out of 10. What is my risk to reward ratio? Most of the time it's 1:1. I don't trade 1:2 unless, like I said, I'm using a different strategy. There's two strategies I can use. One where I just basically am just compounding the same amount. That one I will risk the same amount that I put in, and I will double that account every time. Or two, I'm going to put big money in, and this time I will have a much more tighter risk. If I'm going to put 100,000, I'm going to say, okay, 15,000 is what I'm going to risk, 30,000 is what I'm going to make. Okay, that's a different type, and that's more of a long-term trade. It's not like a scalping type of trade, which is what I've been doing lately. So you've got to have different strategies and different accounts. I've got one account for my small account. I've got another account for my big account, my main account, the account where, if I need anything like seriously big that I need money from, I've got a separate account. If it's small money, if it's something like 100 Rand, 500 Rand, 1,000 Rand, I've got my small trading account money here that I can use to access, whether it's food or it's entertainment, whatever, I can use that. Because what you need to start doing is treating trading like a business. Okay? Treat trade like a business. Treat your trading like a business. If you make a lot of money today, NFP, whatever, you trade it. You put 1,000, you make 6,000. That means your company, not you, your company has made 600%. of whatever you have started with. So now you need to what? Pay yourself money. From that 6,000, pay yourself. Okay? Pay yourself maybe 30%, whatever. That's for you. The rest of the money stays in your company account, not your trading account, guys. I always recommend that you withdraw your money because if you don't, you'll end up trading that same money and blowing that money. Withdraw the money, put it in a savings account, and call that your business or open a business if you want. But I would just say have a savings until you grow to that extent where you can now open a business account because you're trading with a lot of money now. It's not 500, it's not 1,000. But have a savings account specifically dedicated for your profits, and then you split those profits. Whether you want to do 50, 50, 30, whatever, you want to split those profits to yourself. And then the rest of the money stays there. That money is strictly for trading. It's not for anything else. This is where you're going to realize if you're consistently profitable at the end of the month, doesn't have to be huge, but even if you're making 10% more, long term, it's going to make a huge impact. You're going to see a magnificent difference from what you started with from the beginning of the year to what you have at the end of the year. You will be surprised how much money you have managed to accumulate, right? And saved as well. And like I said, your goal is to start small, be consistent, and then increase. You start with the 500 Rand, you double, 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 you withdraw. Put a 500 Rand, you do the same thing 6, 7 times till your savings becomes 5,000. Now you've got 5,000 from 500 that you've managed to generate. Now you take 1,000 Rand and you say, okay, now I'm going to start with 1,000 Rand and try get to 10,000. When you get to 10,000, you deposit again and say, okay, now I'm going to start with 2,000 or 3,000. You have structure set out. And this is what nobody talks about in trading. And this is why I say this channel here, I'm giving you breakdown of how I'm giving you a recipe that I've already tried out and I've seen the results. This is not something just mentioning. Like, if you really want to be trading long term, be profitable long term, you need to have a system into place. Trust me. If you don't have a system, you can be how good? You're going to fall off because you're not going to be able to monitor your growth. You're not going to be able to see, oh, okay, because I've been journaling every single month, I also noticed that January I'm a lot better than in February. And because of December, I'm a lot better in December than November. You are able to even pick out months that you're doing extremely well. And as I said, just like business, understand when you are the most profitable, the worst profitable, and then you can position yourself and say, okay, on this specific month, I don't do well, so I will trade with less money. On this specific month, I do really well, so I will trade with more money. You will be able to come to this conclusion because you don't have history to be able to get to that conclusion to say which month is my good months, which months are my bad months. Overall, how am I doing? Do I have an edge? Am I applying proper risk management? All of these questions you can't answer because you don't have a trading journal. So it starts with a trading journal. Any big banks record everything. All their data gets recorded from 50 years, 60 years time. They record all their data. Why? Because they need an edge. They want an edge in the market to be able to make a lot of money. So why are we not doing the same thing? Why are we not treating our trading like our business? Being smart about it, not just using the money recklessly. Yes, if you make money, guys, and as I said, if you're still in that money phase and still learning how money works, you know, it's good to get that out of your system. Go buy the shoes you wanted, go buy the watch you want, go buy the car you wanted, whatever the case is. Get it out your system. But you mustn't stay in that bubble for too long because you won't be able to grow anything. You won't be able to create anything because you keep breaking down the money that money that you keep saving is going to be your future. It is you're building your future. So every time you keep taking it, you're destroying your future. You understand? This is how business works, guys. So even if you don't want to be a business person, even if you're not an entrepreneur, guys, you got to learn. You got to learn how to apply proper risk management, proper trading journal, so that you are able to be or get to the place that you want to get to. You want to get to a point where you're trading with 200,000, 400,000, a million rand, and you know confidently, based on my data, I'm easily able to handle those funds. Another thing, I was talking to one of the guys that I trade with as well, the guys that I interviewed as well. I mentioned about getting to figures that you are not comfortable with. What do I mean that? So I'm very spiritual, right? I'm very spiritual, and I believe that if you haven't touched 100,000 rand and you touch 100,000 rand, that money is going to go fast. It's going to go quickly. Why? You're not accustomed to that amount of money. You're reaching a high. This is your highest point. What happens when you get to the highest point? There's a decline. So to try and minimize that, this is where a strategy is put into place for you to overcome that. Let me give you an example. You used to trading 500 Rand. You trade only 500 Rand every single time. You become very good at trading that 500 Rand. You become very efficient and effective in trading that 500 Rand. This is why I say, when you make a lot of money, withdraw the money and start with the initial amount that you started with. It's a mentality thing. It's for you to overcome and understand that 500 Rand is normal. It's not a lot of money. You shouldn't get excited. You shouldn't get emotional about that amount. So what you want to do is you start with the 500 Rand, you build your savings, then you add more. 1,000 Rand. You build your savings, then you add more. 5,000 Rand. So now you're trading with 5,000 Rand. You're trading this 5,000 Rand 5, 6 times a day, or you're trading this 5,000 Rand for a whole 2 months, 3 months, and you're adding more money into your savings. What does it do? To you, that 5,000 Rand becomes 500 Rand. That's what happens. Mentally, it becomes five. So you're not moved by the amounts anymore. You're not moved by, oh, I just made 10,000 from the 5,000. It's like boring. You numb the emotions, because that's what trading is. It's called. It wants you to be emotional. So you're trying to numb the emotion by getting comfortable with something, by getting boring. It's getting boring. When it starts getting boring, that's when you that's when you know, okay, can slowly move up. Now I can increase. And trust me, you completely apply this here. Long term, you're going to see the results. You're going to get to a point where you're trading 200,000, you'll be like, 200,000 is like 2,000 Rand. Because mentally, you've already traded this 200,000 10 times, 20 times, and you've already traded 150,000 already. You've already traded 100,000 already. You've already traded 50,000 already. 200,000, you've now jumped into this bracket, but because you traded so many times, it gets accustomed. You get used to trading that amount of money. And this is where now the mind is completely open to say, okay, now I'm in a different ballgame. Imagine you trading 2 million like it's 200 Rand, 2 million like it's 200. Why? Because your savings is sitting on 20 million. You got 20 million saved because you accumulated. Now you've got 20 million, trading 2 million. Even if you lose that 2 million, it's not going to hit you as hard. You understand? Because you are accustomed to making this money. I hope I'm making sense. Like, this is really vital information. And I swear to you, if you apply it properly, it's going to completely change your trading journey, guys. So, this is the psychology behind trading. And that's how I started trading, guys. It took me many years to get to this point. Nobody assisted me. I had to learn the hard way. I'm giving you this stuff for free. All I ask is you share the videos with people that are interested, people that are close to you, that you want to teach them. Say, hey, listen, this guy here, he speaks about trading. He shows us his transparency. You can learn something from this person. This is a real trader. This is someone that trades, has been in the industry for long and actually trades. Take notes, follow the channel, listen to what he says. And that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to grow this channel. That's how we're going to get to a point where eventually, hopefully, my dream is I can run an event, a big event, and have all the traders come who subscribe to me, have it all, and we meet and we greet and we get to know each other on a personal level, not just YouTube. But obviously, that's in the near future. My goal now is just to work on the community that I have right now, the people that are following me, okay, the people that are listening and liking my videos and subscribing. I appreciate you. I really do. And I hope the information that I pass to you is going to help you with your trading in the near future. All right, guys, thank you very much for staying tuned. I hope this video, as I said, helps you. Have a great weekend. Stay blessed, and I'm out.